I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Guys, welcome to Oops the Podcast. I am Julio. I am joined by our pal Francis.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
You know what? Suck my dick, Julio. Right out of the gates.
Oh, baby.
Letting it rip.
Oh, baby.
I got something for you.
What's up?
Right off the bat.
Okay, I love that.
So here's the thing, right? We got into an Uber that we were on a flight with another person, and then we had to take an Uber from the airport to the hotel that all of us were staying in. And this other guy, our buddy, was like, well, why don't we just split an Uber? I said, okay, great. So we split the Uber. Uber was expensive. It was like $130.
Jeez. From where to where?
From the Vail Airport, the Eagle Airport, to Beaver Creek Mountain.
Oh,
It's only like 40 minutes, but there are no Ubers out there.
Jesus.
Okay, so here's the deal, right? We get out of the Uber. I called the Uber. Now, what does he owe me? Does he owe me half, or does he owe me a third?
Oh.
Because
It was just you three.
My girlfriend is with us.
Okay, so I thought you were going to ask something else. I think he owes you a third.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to argue against you on
So
this.
here's the thing.
But I don't even know if I'm right.
Before we argue, let me say this. And you might be, I think you should offer to cover 2/3 and he should decline that offer.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. Because by the
we
way,
should split
this pertains to maybe a more common occurrence of this would be if a couple and a friend goes out to dinner, right? And then let's say the two guys, do they split the dinner, or is it a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 kind of thing? Where
It depends.
Yeah.
I have a friend who I go to dinner with all the time. His girlfriend doesn't even own a wallet.
Well,
And
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
I
saying,
allow him to pay for 2/3
Yeah.
every time. Because he always wants to go somewhere fancy too. Like I'm not, and we drink a ton of cocktails. Like I'm not about to start paying for it every single time. I already have a girlfriend.
Yeah, but she's not there.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so then maybe that is a different application of this thought.
Yeah.
Because with the Ubers,
I agree.
Here's my thought, right? When he said we should split an Uber, he knew that we were a unit,
Yes.
that we come as a unit. He knows that he is splitting with me because he knows that I'm probably paying for the Uber for the two of us.
Right.
So it's not as if she and I were going to split the Uber.
So why does he think that? Why does he not think you're going to split it?
Because it was the wedding. She was my plus one.
Okay.
Right. So, or whatever. Like, even if you want to say that it's
Like I split Ubers with my girlfriend. And I even like, for example, when we went to this wedding, she paid for the Uber there. I got the Uber back. The Uber there was more expensive because of the tunnel.
yeah.
But then we kind of were like, whatever.
All right. But
And I was the plus one.
But even if she were paying for the Uber, if that other person joins you guys, that person would probably just split it with her.
Okay,
I think you
that's
two
fine.
are a unit.
Okay.
I think you two are a unit. If the car is big enough, which obviously it is, to seat three of you, then there's really no difference in terms of body and discomfort in the car from having two people versus three.
Mm-hmm. You're right. And it doesn't make it more expensive, which is different with dinner because with dinner, there's a person ordering more stuff.
Really well said.
Yeah.
Really well said. The Uber, no matter what, you're getting a major benefit by splitting it with somebody.
Right.
Even
and
if
you're
it's
saying,
two people.
And honestly, this maybe matters, but when you say split it with me, is different than split it with us.
Yeah. Split it implies a 50-50.
Yeah.
Split is a halving of the cost.
So here's the other thing that contributes to this is that you can physically split it in the app. You can add riders. So theoretically, if you're like split it with me, you just hit it Francis, and then it says Francis wants to split with you. He clicks, and then it automatically does it.
Okay, but then would you also add Hillary if you were doing that?
It depends. But if I'm the person being split with, you've offered for me to join you and Sierra. You say you want to split it with me. I say yes. You send me the split link. I click OK. When I get the total, I'm not questioning the breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. So you think it should be thirds?
Yes, but I also think that if you invited me to come with you and it was 50-50 and you're with your girl, I would just split it with you. Because if it was just you, I would have just split it with you. By having the girl there doesn't make it more expensive. If it did, it should absolutely be thirds.
Uh-huh.
But since it's not, I think you're good with the 50-50.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You don't bring it up. I would
Right.
prefer for it to be thirds,
Yeah.
but I would just suck up
I
the
think
50-50.
you've got to be okay with it being halves unless the experience is made more expensive by the addition of the couple.
So what happened with you guys?
Yeah, we split it 50-50.
And it was never discussed?
There was no question.
Of course, yeah.
Because when I was discussing splitting the Uber with my friend, she wasn't even around.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was no thought of
Right.
I'm having this conversation with across three people.
Totally. So the other thing too, I think the familiarity matters. Like, for example, my friend who I've discussed, whose girlfriend doesn't know about money, like if I went to dinner with them for the first time, I would split it with him, and she wouldn't pay, and I wouldn't say a word. But the sixth time, he's paying 2/3.
Yes.
You know,
Understood.
the only
Yeah.
problem with the Uber, what about this? So this is the problem with the Uber split. If you have Apple Pay set up to your Uber and not a card, if you go to split with me, it won't work. So you'll request the split, and I'll say accept, and it'll say declined. You can't do it with Apple Pay, and then you can't do anything about it. And I'm not even going to know.
Yeah, but I'm just Venmoing people after the fact anyway.
Okay, and you can do that, right?
Yeah.
And that's all you were doing to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the smarter move
Mm-hmm.
because when you physically split it, that'll happen, and then you can't say anything.
Right.
I have another thing that's just like this.
Okay.
Curious to hear your thought.
Cool.
You go with a friend to a concert. He drives. You drive, you go, say it's 40 minutes away. Okay, this is specifically where I was. I was in Boston, and we went to see Wu-Tang in Providence. This is when they began their reunion stint in mid-2000s.
Yep.
So we get to the concert, we go to the concert, we have a great time. We get back to his car, he has a ticket.
Great. This is great. Yep.
And he goes, should we split this? Because we came together.
Yeah. Ooh, this is tough. This is a spicy one. I can feel the hairs on the back of my neck pricking up. Because here's my thought as someone who is a very, very meticulous observer of parking signs.
Mm-hmm.
It is the driver's responsibility to know if where he or she is parking is legal or not.
Agreed.
And you cannot expect your passengers to be reading the fine print of parking signs.
Uh-huh.
And it's on you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so too.
And the same goes for now. What if your driver says, "Do you think we're good to park here?" And then you, as the passenger, had said, "Yeah."
Then maybe there's an argument there. If he genuinely is looking and he doesn't know, if I look and say yes, if I say I don't know, then no. If I say yes, then I owe for sure.
Yeah.
I paid because it was too awkward to not. But if I were driving and I had a ticket, I would never ask the person with me to pay, ever. I'm the driver, like you said. When you
okay.
get a DUI, the passenger doesn't go to jail.
But it's one thing. Okay, a speeding ticket, yes, obviously the driver's paying, right? A DUI, yeah, the guy, yeah. Parking ticket, there should be some kind of. I don't know. I mean, as soon as the driver asks, "Is this an okay place to park?" and then there's a group support, everyone who voiced their support is on the hook.
Agreed.
That's how I feel.
Agreed. That did not happen in this situation. This happened to me in college. In college, it's a little different. Like, now as an adult, like, I don't let people give me gas money. You know what I mean? Like when you're in college, like gas money, that kind of shit. And I think the same applies to a ticket. But I also still think in this situation, it's different than gas money. Gas money, you're going together. I'll drive. I'll give you a couple bucks for gas. Cool.
Right.
But why am I now paying for your ticket? It's not our ticket. You drove, dude.
Yeah, you broke the law.
You drove.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a good one. It's an uncomfortable one. I had a friend. I was with a friend. We parked and his car got towed.
Oh. Where?
It was in Portland, Maine. We went to a Sea Dogs game.
Oh my God.
Years and years and years ago. I don't even remember what it was for.
How does that even happen?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember where we parked, but I do remember I think I said I thought we were okay. We were far from okay.
Well, did you go with him or something? Like, oh, how do you even?
I don't remember how we resolved it. I don't know if I gave him money. I definitely didn't go with him to get the car from the impound lot or whatever.
Right.
So.
Jesus. Dude, some of these people, like, have you ever been with somebody who just parks in a place where you clearly can't park? And then you're like, what are you doing? And they're like, we're fine. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Dude, I know a couple of people like that.
I do too. I know what you mean.
It's crazy.
They're just willing to roll the dice and live with it.
Next to a fire hydrant or in commercial parking or like whatever. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Rolling the dice.
Have you guys ever had a car towed here?
Never.
I just imagine that being a nightmare.
I know someone who
haven't.
has, and it's
I
the
haven't.
guy who I'm talking about. He's a lunatic. He'll just park anywhere. Not even boot on the car. Car just towed.
Yeah. Boy, that is
Crazy.
there's nothing that'll get the anxiety pumping more than coming back and finding that your car's not there anymore. Because you don't even know if it's been stolen or
I know.
towed or what.
So, dude, funny you say that. I used to give tennis lessons to this guy, Ari. Great guy. And we would play in the Delancey Street courts near the river. And it's one of those things like you can only teach people a quote unquote lesson there if they're good enough to play, because you can only bring a couple balls with you. So, you just hit balls with this guy. One morning, we walked back to his car, as we always would after, and his car was gone. And that sucks when you're giving a person a quote tennis lesson, because like you want to feel good. It's just awkward as fuck when this person gets so mad. And then it fucked things up for me. Like he didn't want to do it anymore because he was afraid of getting towed, because he got towed.
That's brutal.
Brutal.
That's brutal. It's out of your control. Yeah.
Dude, I've been meaning to get out there this summer, but it's just too hot, man. It's been a hot summer.
It's been really hot. We've talked about it before, and that's the reason why I have been keeping my my man coat at its most minimal level.
Love it.
My beard, my pubic beard. I've been minimizing it for the sake of airflow, thanks to my absolutely wonderful lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped.
Great
oh my
product.
God, we love it.
If you're not manscaping, you're an animal.
This thing purrs. Exactly
Keep it
right.
clean.
Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. I'm one of the first people to try the new 4.0, and I'm blown away by the performance, Julio. I really am. This one's way better.
No nicks, no cuts.
Craftsmanship and details on the 4.0 are next level. You know, I do remember trimmers of the past, and I remember them with nightmares.
You just look like one of the your friend's dads who just has a little piece of tissue on his cheek all afternoon.
Covered in
Just
those
oozing
tiny
blood.
things. How was that the move, you know?
Dude, it's crazy.
But it is. And back in the day, that's all we had. You had to just accept that you were going to look like a stuck pig after a manscaping session. Not no more.
Not no more.
With the 4.0, it's their 4th generation trimmer. Features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel confident shaving my boys. So here's how it's going to work, guys. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code OOPS20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping. Promo code OOPS20 at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you.
Love the worldwide shipping situation.
Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Love it. Dude, I have a good story for you. This is crazy.
Please.
So the other night, I'm in bed. It's like, I don't know, 1 a.m. I'm not asleep yet, but Hillary is out like a light. All of a sudden, I hear a guy start screaming, be like, what the fuck? And like, he's so close. He must have been right outside because it sounded like he was in our apartment. And then I just start hearing pop, 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 shooting.
What?
Shooting occurring. And Hillary wakes up and she just kind of looks at me. And then he continues screaming, what the fuck? And then he just keeps shooting and shooting. I don't know if he's getting shot, if he's shooting. I don't know what the fuck's happening. And she looks at me and she goes, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "Why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything." She's like, "You're so nonchalant about this." I'm like, "What do you want?" She's like, "What is that?" And I kind of just held up a gun thing with my hand, just went, pew, pew. I didn't notice it, but dude, she like got mad at me for the shooting occurring outside. I'm
Was
like,
it real shooting?
Yeah, a shooting of a gun. Someone was shooting a gun. I've never heard gunshots outside one of my apartments before.
Did you read about it the next day or
No.
anything?
And I was about to sign up for the Citizen app, but then I had to pay, and I was like, "Fuck that."
Oh my
But
gosh,
dude, somebody was shooting or being shot or getting shot. I mean, he sounded like he was so fucked up if he was the one shooting that he maybe shouldn't be that. Like there's no way he could aim if that was the guy actually doing the shooting. But dude, have you heard people? Have you ever heard that outside of one of your apartments?
No,
Isn't that crazy,
I've never heard gunshots.
dude? Crazy.
That's pretty bad.
I know.
That's really bad.
I know. And they say that the city has been a little dodgy lately. I mean, I wonder
I had to delete the Zillow app
why.
because all I do is look at homes that I can't afford to escape the city to.
Really?
And it just makes me demoralized.
Dude, I worry that you're going to always feel this way. Even when you get there's always going to be a cooler house than yours, dude.
I have really, unfortunately, decided in my mind that money is the answer to all my problems. And I never was that way.
Mm-hmm.
By virtue of choosing the jobs that we chose,
Yeah.
it is the biggest turn away from that type of thinking.
But you also in the back of your head are kind of like, one day I'll make it big.
It was never tied to lots of money, though.
Right.
When I
right.
had that thought, it was
Right,
more of the
interesting.
glamour of playing Madison Square Garden or
Mhm.
being famous or being revered, any of that
right,
stuff.
Right.
But now, as I've said, all the things I desire are more expensive than I can afford.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Do you ever consider another job?
No, I have in the past. It's funny. Before I booked this commercial, that Capital One commercial, which I don't know if I've ever. Yeah, I've said it on the pod before.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Taylor Swift one that I'm barely in. By the way, you have to literally look for me with a magnifying glass. Right before I got that, I was looking for jobs doing like production stuff in a way where that's not continuing to do what we do. That's a shift away. Like I was like, I need to make more money. At least this is doing something that I'm interested in. Like I like, the idea of filmmaking, whatever. I was like, maybe I can go down that route. And then if comedy doesn't work out, whatever. That was the thought I had. That commercial paid me so much that it gave me kind of like a reset to rethink it. But I've only had the thought when things are going really, really poorly.
How much did you get from that commercial?
A lot.
Over $30,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
A lot more.
yeah.
Over 100?
No.
But over 50.
Yes.
This is awesome.
For a thing I'm not even in. Dude, it was nuts.
This is great.
I know.
Why are we not allowed to ask people how much money they make from certain things? Why is that considered so gauche?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that you can build a rapport with people where it isn't, but I agree. It's a thing you're not supposed to talk about.
You know, what would be gauche is if someone said, how much money do you make or did you make from this? And then they told you the number and then they reacted in a very gauche way. That to me
Extra
is
gauche.
the gauchiest.
That's as gauche as it gets, dude.
Yeah, you're the gauche lord. But just asking to me is not strange or weird. People who make a lot of money often, this is great irony where they don't like to tell people the specific number that they're paid or that they make, but then they live a life that often shows or hints at how much money they
That's
make.
a really good point.
So they indirectly want you to know.
That's a good point. Dude, it's funny. I've been feeling bad playing the compare game in a different way. I've been feeling that way about my comedy career. And it's funny because I was absolved of that feeling during COVID because there was no comedy. So I was like, oh, I didn't feel bad about myself. And now I've started doing comedy again and now I just feel bad about myself again.
I hear you, man.
It's a crazy thing.
I hear you.
And it's you see other people doing stuff. It's hard not to feel bad about yourself. It's like people who are your peers, or you're like, I'm as funny as that guy. And it's like, I don't want them to not have the thing that they're doing, but I would also love to be doing it as well.
Well, what's your goal? What's your goal?
I don't know.
Stand up.
I don't know. I don't really have one, to be honest.
This is the thing. I had not thought about what my goal was in a long time. And now I'm at a point again where I'm like, all right, well, am I building an hour to try to do another special?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to present the material? Or have we shifted more towards just having tons of clips and putting that all out on
Right.
TikTok and Instagram? I mean, I told you guys, I put that one clip on TikTok. It's now got 2.4 million
Oh,
views.
Jesus. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I also have put up a bunch of other stuff, including a couple clips that I had put on TikTok the first time I tried TikTok. The clip of my grandfather.
Oh, that one got like
being-
800,000.
It was over 1 million.
Was it? Oh my
Now
God.
it's only got like a 2,000 views.
Dude,
It's going nowhere on TikTok this time.
the algo, dude.
The first time I put that on TikTok, it got over 1 million views, and now it's got nothing.
Right.
I put the video of my dad stressing over the zucchini spiralizer. That's a fan favorite. Everybody loves that on Instagram. Goes nowhere on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Couple clips from the podcast have done pretty well,
It's great.
but nothing compared to. I even put up another clip of me doing stand up, and it's going nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, dude, you know,
I find TikTok depressing. I find it depressing.
for that reason.
Well, for a couple reasons. One, the explosiveness of that one clip made me think you have to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, anyone who refuses to join TikTok is being left in the dust.
Like as far as our
It's refusing
industry is
to
concerned.
embrace a new piece of technology
Right, that's
that is
important.
intrinsic to life
Totally.
as a creator.
Totally.
And
Well said.
yeah, and I've heard comedians be like, I'm not gonna do it. I don't do it. Fuck that. It's like, well, you're just dinosauring yourself.
Yeah. Totally.
That's all you're doing.
Totally.
And TikTok is an incredibly explosive and scalable content home.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes me think that I've just been wasting my time on Instagram all this time.
Right. But dude, things have their moment. You know what I mean? And you used Instagram to build this great following and all this stuff. Like, it's not going to be, things aren't going to be the same forever, you know?
Yeah, but if
Got to embrace the change.
you compare the two things, I mean, one is so much infinitely more reach. It reaches a much bigger audience than the other.
Right. Well, this is the other thing too. Like, you just joined, you know what I mean? So you'll have a couple more viral clips, and then you'll build your following, and then your baseline view will be higher.
It brings all of
Yeah.
the other things
That
up.
tends to,
That's kind of what I've seen.
yeah.
Boy, these kids are who got the jump start,
I know.
because the right age, the sexy age for TikTok is 19
yeah.
to 21.
The kids with that like haircut where it's like
The
shaved, but there's a
mop.
lot of hair on top with the dangly earring.
What the fuck is that haircut, dude? What the fuck is that?
It's pretty terrible, dude.
Why are
honestly.
they all doing it?
I don't know. It's just what the kids are doing, dude.
I feel so old. I feel so old, man. It's crazy.
But it's funny you talk about the kind of the goal conversation, because my goal is like has always sort of been a broader goal, and I've always kind of felt bad. I've always like checked it when other people are like telling me how specifically goal oriented they are, and I'm always kind of like, well, whatever. Like, I don't have to be. I can be whatever I want to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be like, I'm going to specifically do this and that, and it just makes it not fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think about that, and I guess my broader goal would be to continue making a living doing this,
Mm-hmm.
some form of this, making money doing things, and then being allowed the time flexibility to work on things that I want to do, whether or not I can make money doing them, and hope to fucking live to tell the tale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if that's selling myself short or something.
I want a house in Quag, East Hampton,
It would be nice.
to escape to
Yeah.
for
Oh,
3 days in the summer when the air conditioning breaks and I don't have any spots, and I can just jump out there and be in the pool in the morning and at night. You know how nice it is to start your day by swimming?
So let me ask you this. Would you not feel good about having that same thing in a place that's just less expensive to do it?
those places that are less expensive are farther from the city.
Not necessarily.
Where can you go?
Upstate. It's not farther. There's places that are an hour away.
That's fair.
There are places that are closer.
That's fair.
Or even, you know.
I've considered it. I certainly have.
But then, unfortunately, you will be in the place where maybe many of the people that you know are not.
We will
which would suck.
maroon ourselves.
Which is not ideal.
And it's not as easy to make friends up there because the houses are much farther apart.
Totally. And there's less of it's just the place you go.
The place you go.
You know? It's just the place you go, dude.
We do like hiking. We like the outdoors, though.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, how about this nice milestone we just hit of doing the podcast for 2 years, and we can celebrate that.
Is
How
that what
about
it is?
that,
Yeah.
Chris?
2 years?
Yeah.
2 years for the kids.
That's crazy.
Yeah. August
been at it.
1st,
That's amazing.
2019.
Holy shit.
Was our first
Holy
episode.
schmoly.
Holy shit.
This has
dude.
been the most consistent thing in my life.
Yeah?
We've never
You
missed
do?
an episode.
Holy shnikes.
I
We've
see
literally
you-
never missed
Yeah,
one.
I see you
Yeah.
two a lot.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, more than most people.
You know what's crazy,
Good
though?
for us, dude.
Chris has come the farthest of any of us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say it like that, but I've literally turned into like an adult in front of you. though.
Chris,
I
in
was
the 2
thinking
years
about
since
this
we
today.
met him,
True.
has moved out of his house with moved out of living with his parents, lost 400 pounds,
I didn't do that.
and has just totally become this handsome kind
I
of.
even know where all my
confident
rings
guy.
and jewelry.
He's
He's
rocking
got
rings.
7 rings on his fingers. He
I
looks
was like, it's
Tom
2
Brady.
years. I'm gonna wear all these.
That's a good
Looks like
line.
Tom Brady at
That's a
some
good
like
line.
autograph signing event or Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah, he's one ring away from his arm falling off.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congrats, Chris. It's like, you ever watched the show Entourage?
Sure.
They always say that show's really about E. Like, E is the one who really progresses as a character throughout the show, and nobody else really does. Chris, so Oops the podcast then is really about Chris,
Yeah,
dude.
it's the journey of Chris.
The tale of Chris.
That's really what it is. Chris also now is working with some other podcasts. You've become kind of a true force in the producing
Pod
business.
savant.
Yeah. We always worry that we're going to lose him.
I'm not going anywhere,
It'll
right?
happen one day.
He says he's not
It's
going
okay.
anywhere, but then
We'll try our best
next
to
week
keep
he'd
him.
be like, guys, bad news. I got an offer I can't refuse.
We'll be like, Chris.
And then we'll be like, well,
No,
why
no.
don't you tell us what you're making so we can see if we can match it? And then he'll tell us and be like, all right, enjoy.
And then he'll tell us it's rude to ask what people make.
Yeah.
He'll be like, touche, Chris, touche.
Well, how
That's
about
fair.
you guys? You guys have come a long way in 2 years.
I think it's less. All right, rank
Uh-oh.
who's come the farthest. I think Chris has come the
Me?
farthest, and then do you think you or I have changed more? This should be obvious.
I don't know.
It's you.
Is it me?
Yes. You moved in with Hillary.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
but
a-
you did too.
Yeah, but we were kind of there.
That's true.
We were going to be there.
That's true.
Julia, when we met, was like, I don't know when or if that
Yeah.
might happen. He was,
I've become much more visible since I started doing this. This is sort of the thing that like got me people watching my stuff who I didn't know
you got
on a bigger
yeah.
scale. You
Mhm.
know, whereas you sort of already had that. Not sort of, you did.
Yeah, but the pod has also introduced me to people that had,
no, totally.
I think the people we've found through the podcast are very different from the people who knew me before.
Mhm.
That's true too. That's true. Which is also a very nice thing.
Yeah.
It's good for us.
Well, anyway, that's our own patting ourselves on the back segment, which I think we deserve,
Mhm.
which is great. 2 years. There are a lot of podcasts that don't make it to the 2-year mark. That's really
Absolutely.
the
That's
big
true.
thing.
That is true.
We
man.
never miss an episode.
Never have missed a single episode.
Fucking grinding. And bro, let's not forget, during that time where we haven't missed an episode, think about how much shit we've done. I went to every fucking state in the country. I've been traveling all over the fucking world. You've
nuts.
been all over the place too. I mean, it's pretty. I'm glad we've been able to make it work.
It's been great.
Prioritize.
It's been great. Shout out Oops the podcast.
Oops, the motherfucking P. Back to this conversation about comedy and stuff. Like I remember when I was in my 20s and I was doing comedy, and I was starting to feel like I was getting a little burned out. I was doing a ton of shows. I was doing a ton of mics. I was out every night. I was getting tired, and like I needed to rest, but I couldn't. So like what would happen is I would just get stressed. And I just started smoking a ton of cigarettes. dude.
Smoking bogues.
And I was constantly leaving the comedy club, walking out to smoke, and I would smoke half a pack in a night easily,
You're ripping darts.
which is a lot. That's a lot of darts, dude.
How many darts are there in a pack?
20.
You smoke 10 darts a night?
Yeah. And dude, you guys say, damn, think about this. Think about like your uncle, or maybe not your uncle, but like your grandfather, like 3 packs a day. Think about how many cigarettes 3 packs a day is. I don't know if the packs were smaller then or something, but like that was when you smoked inside, I guess.
Imagine eating 60 Snickers a day.
Dude, literally.
Doing 60 of anything a day.
I know. Dude, and this guy Bruce, who I know, he's like a contractor. He'd be like, yeah, 3 packs a day. 3 packs a day. I'm like, how, dude?
That's nuts.
Nuts.
Seems like it's around the clock.
So dude, it's too bad because now that I don't do that anymore, I wish that I had some of the alternatives that exist today for getting that nicotine fix, for kind of like taking that edge off. And that's why I honestly think that the Lucy pouches are such an amazing creation.
They really are. Their latest product is the Slim Nicotine Pouches, which contain pure synthetic nicotine and provide the same satisfaction that nicotine users expect without any tobacco at all.
It's amazing, dude. Yeah, it's coconut oil and gum that is used to provide a soft, fluffy texture that enhances the flavor and does not dry out your mouth. They come in different strengths and they have all the good flavors: mango, spearmint, cool cider. This is a great alternative to whatever sort of nicotine habit that you currently have. And it's nice because especially people who like those pouches, sort of like the dip pouches, the snooze stuff, like this is a really cool, similar sort of alternative that you might really enjoy.
That's right. So go to lucy.co, Lucy, LUCY.co, and use promo code OOPS to get 20% off your order of Lucy Slim pouches or any other Lucy products. That's lucy.co, and use promo code OOPS at checkout. Also, have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains non-tobacco nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Lucy.co, promo code OOPS, 20% off.
Yeah.
Dude, so I was thinking about this the other day. I witnessed something crazy, and I never talked about it, and I didn't realize how crazy it was until I put my finger on it some days later. But I went to visit Hillary's old roommate in LA.
Oh.
And
Guy or a girl?
Hillary was with me. It's a girl.
Oh, okay.
So we went to visit her. And she's like, just heads up, my sister is throwing a party. I forget what they were. It might have been the Oscars. This is a couple of years ago. So she had a party. So we get there and she's having a party. And there's a bunch of people around the couch watching TV, watching the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
I then find out that she is also hosting a separate party in the same house with a completely different group of people.
Oh my God.
In the basement. It was like her high school friends and her work friends, and they were in separate places in the house.
What?
And she was hosting both of them at the exact same time. It blew my fucking mind.
It's like hosting a party with cats and hosting a party with roosters.
Dude.
Like you're worried they're gonna tear each other's heads off, not get along?
And nobody had a problem with it, with the division. And shout out, her name's Jillian. It was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. I've never seen something executed.
But you've
so
kind
smoothly.
of spread yourself too thin as a host. And you know me, I'm a host.
Totally.
I would never throw 2 parties in my own apartment at
Dude,
the same time. That's ridiculous.
It's madness.
Jillian, you know what? Jillian, what? Who do you think you are?
Jillian.
When is enough? What's enough for Jillian?
What's enough?
What is enough? You got to have 2 parties at once?
Dude, it's and of course the question is, why can't they all be together? And the answer, maybe, which makes it less uncomfortable, although this doesn't seem like the real answer, is that there is comfortable viewing spaces for that amount of people in both areas of the house. And by bringing all the people upstairs, they wouldn't all be able to watch the Oscars at the same time. But I don't know, dude.
I think, though, the fact that she very clearly defined each space as a specific group is weird, because I understand there not being enough space, but then let people choose. And
Right.
people will say, okay, well, there's not enough room up to watch up here. I'm going to go watch down there. And then you get this commingling of different people. And that's what parties are all about. It's about bringing
Totally.
people together and letting them get to know each other.
Totally. Or a natural segregation occurs where those 2 different groups find their way.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's even what happened. I need to ask her more about this. But here's the question, though. It's the Oscars. Like, that's not a turn-up event.
Mm-mm.
That's a, like, finger foods event, maybe a glass of wine event.
Yeah.
So maybe it's harder to, like, mingle. In LA, people can be kind of not that friendly.
Right.
Strangers. I don't know.
Oh, speaking of LA,
Mm.
so that rehearsal dinner that I performed at,
Yeah.
so the wedding planner hit me up from that rehearsal dinner. She was there.
Mhm.
She hit me up and said that she had another opportunity for me at
No
another
way.
wedding. Yeah.
No way. In
but
California?
She did that on Friday and she said, "Do you have time to talk today?" And I said, "I'm actually about to perform in another rehearsal dinner."
That's hilarious.
That was the one in Vail. And so she said, "No problem. Let's talk on Monday." And on Monday, I called her and she said, "So in the space of time since I told you I had this gig for you, the couple broke up."
What?
Whoa.
What? That's crazy.
They called off their wedding and broke up.
Holy shit.
Do you know anybody that has broken an engagement? Or broken a wedding? Like a planned wedding that invitations had been
No,
sent out
definitely
to?
not for that. Engagement, maybe, but I don't remember. So no, I can't say.
How
yes.
bad is it to break an engagement? How bad is it to break up when you're engaged? Is it much worse than breaking up when you live together?
Yes, but it can kind of be one of those things that's a blessing in disguise.
Dude, I feel like everyone always says like, well, at least they didn't get. It's almost like better now than after.
Right. I guess after marriage makes sense because there's legal ramifications. But dude, like, to your point, it's a good discussion because being engaged sometimes is the thing that makes people break up.
What's the difference, really?
Because now it's like, okay, we are now getting married. If you just live together and you're not engaged, like maybe you're more likely to drag it out longer because you have more time to, like, there isn't sort of like the walls aren't closing as you would say.
I don't know why I have this feeling, but I have this weird feeling that breaking up when you live together is more traumatizing than breaking up when you're engaged.
And
is there any
why?
reason why I'm right when I say that?
Like, yes, and I can't put my finger on why. Part of what I just said is part of why, but also like you'd think that because you're engaged, you've been together longer, it would make it more traumatic, but it's not necessarily the case. Like maybe by the time you're engaged, you're just so disenchanted, like so disenfranchised with the idea or whatever that you're like, fuck it, whatever, and it doesn't hurt as bad. I don't really know.
I'm with you.
And it could be a surprise to one of the parties, in which case it must be devastating.
Yeah, I just think that so many people are if you break up when you're engaged, it means that people don't have to attend a wedding that now they know would not have been a lasting wedding. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so they say, well, okay, better to have gotten out of it, better to have gotten ahead of it, not have us all attend or you know, hopefully cancel flights and bookings. Hopefully the engagement breaks out before everyone's planned it.
Right.
I knew a couple that sent out wedding invitations and then broke everything. Yeah.
Were they a good friend?
They were probably closer with my girlfriend at the time. We were both invited, obviously. But I liked them both, and I knew the guy pretty well.
Why did they break it off? Was it ugly?
You know, I kind of do know the story, but it's like it had to do, I think, with the one side's family not approving of their kid's choice of a mate.
Dude, that's the worst. I've heard about something like that happening recently to people that I know, not with marriage involved yet, but what a bummer.
Really, really horrific.
Really horrific.
Really horrific.
Like, did they think that the other party's family wasn't up to par, or what was it exactly?
Probably that,
No.
and just in general, yeah, that the person wasn't a suitable match.
Ugh.
And
Snooze.
the problem with that is that then if the breakup does happen, the person who's been told you're not good enough for my son or daughter is just, I mean, it's so traumatizing.
I know. Dude, I would love to honestly hear from a person who, because you meet these people who are like, my parents would disown me if I didn't marry someone who was Jewish, or my parents would disown me if this or that, like all these that's the specific one that just came to mind. I would love to talk to these parents and ask them why.
Yeah.
You know, and I like how could you give an answer that takes your kid into account, that isn't selfish, that isn't like, well, I want my family to be like this. In our family, we do this. How can you answer that question on your kid's behalf? Who is the person making the decision? Is it possible? Is there something I'm not seeing?
That's a great point.
You know,
That's a great point is there a way to answer that by saying, I know that their lives will be better
Yes.
because they're sticking to this cultural thing we have.
Right. Right.
Um,
I have trouble imagining that there's a good answer to that.
Now, I do think, and maybe this is a total made up thing in my mind, but I think that we are getting away from some of those old fashioned stay within your community. There's a little more kind of cross cultural bonding and marriage, and that is so good for society.
Dude, totally.
That those breaking down.
Wait, to cross pollinate, you're saying?
Yes,
It's America, baby.
To marry across race
do
or religion is the best thing you can possibly do for a country or for society, because it just instantly forces people to understand something that's different from what they've known so long.
Dude, totally.
And realize, well, this isn't so scary, or this isn't so weird, you know? And we found love, despite the fact that we don't see eye to eye on all sorts of things, brings families together. And it's really, really good for society.
Dude, listen, and if you want to bring religion into it, look how hot mixed race people are. Like God intended
Wait,
for cross-pollination.
Race, not religion.
What did I say, religion?
You said religion.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, like mixed race people are so good looking.
They are. They often are.
That is proof that God intended cross-pollination to occur.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, back to the wedding thing. It's such a tricky thing if your parents say, we don't think you should marry this person, because then the person, the kid, has the ugly job of either defying his parents, which
Right.
is what a nightmare going into your wedding.
Be put in that position.
To have to do that and say, I
Ostracized by your
choose my
family.
daughter, or excuse me, I choose my bride or groom,
Yeah.
or to side with the parents, and then your wedding's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a very selfish thing, I think, for parents to do.
Agreed.
Very selfish.
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy, man.
Mhm.
I mean, can you imagine fucking being put in that situation? Like, dude, I don't know. What would you even do?
Well, I'd have to think about it, and I would probably pour myself a nice cup of coffee
That is the one thing that you could
to
definitely
give
do.
myself some time to, really use that nice caffeine boost and center my thoughts and get some energy to get that thought through.
Some Weiwei Tananga.
Yeah, the
Even
Weiwei
saying it wakes you
Tananga.
up.
Yeah, that's Brooklyn Roasting Company, by the way. We talk about it a lot. Guys, you've seen it now. It is exploding.
It really is.
The coffee, the ooey, gooey, golly, glop, is the stuff that we talk about, and we love it. Oh, my God.
So good.
Throw a little of that on some ice cream.
Dude,
You're good to go.
unbelievable.
Love the coffee of the month, though. That's join the subscription. Trust us.
It's a fun thing.
Don't start with a tester can. Subscribe to the Brooklyn Roasting Company Coffee of the Month Club. Use promo code OOPSBEANS. Trust me, you're gonna love what you taste. If you like coffee, if you're new to coffee, trying to get into coffee, do this. This is the place to start. Their coffee is incredible. It's sourced from all over the
Their
world.
products are dope.
Roasted right here in the Brooklyn Naval Yard, about 40 seconds walk from where I live. This is local. I've had my hands on it. It's the bomb.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you bring a new partner over and you give them a cup of that in the morning, you're getting laid again.
This
in the
is
morning.
Julio's favorite selling point for it. I wonder why he keeps coming back to it. How many girls did you make coffee for in the
Dude,
morning?
I just truly believe that it's a flex to have some of this.
Were you just a guy who, that's how you found your repeat customers in terms of sexual enterprises?
Dude, it really is a flex. It shows that you're an interesting person. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
If you show me you have some of this, it shows me that you're thoughtful in your decisions.
Fair enough.
And that it's important to you that everything that you do, there's thought put into it.
Well, this is why I'm saying
It's
you gotta think through your decisions, whether it's trying to figure out if you should defy your parents and stick it out through the marriage, or I guess think about whether or not you should invite that person who just left your apartment back for another romp in the hay. The old Julia way. Love it.
Brooklyn Roasting Company, get in there.
Oops beans.
So, dude, I did a show on Friday and I saw an old pal and I ended up getting like a really backhanded compliment. So, first of all, someone told me that I look like Hugh Jackman. Do you see that at all?
Well, I think he's one of the most
I
handsome
agree,
people.
but you'll see where the backhandedness
alive.
comes in.
So yeah, I can
do
see
you?
that. Yeah, when he's cleaned up, not when he's playing Wolverine.
Got it. I've never gotten that in my life. So I was kind of like, oh, interesting. And like, there are people that I have gotten over time,
Mhm.
different points in my life. So I'm like, oh, interesting. And then the person who said that to me looked at one of my friends who was sitting next to me and asked her, do you think he looks like Hugh Jackman? And she looks at me and she goes, well, now that he's like getting older, I sort of see it. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, that is so annoying. That, like, what a way to just put a damper on something that started as something really nice. Now you're just being like, and she said it in a way like she knew me when I was in my prime,
Yeah.
sort of comment. I was like, God damn it.
Huh.
The fucking
That
dick.
is weird. Hugh Jackman was so perfect as Wolverine.
He's pretty awesome.
Did you watch any of those movies?
I watched some of the earlier ones, yeah.
So Wolverine was always my favorite comic book character.
Are you a comic book person?
I used to be.
Interesting.
Big time. Probably didn't see that coming, did you?
I didn't know.
No. And I loved Wolverine. And they cast Hugh Jackman. Now, Hugh Jackman was this brilliant sort of like Broadway show tunesy singer
I'd never heard of him before that movie.
before Wolverine.
Before he played, before he played Wolverine, not before the movie Wolverine.
Yeah, the first time he played Wolverine was in
an
the
X-Men
very
movie.
first X-Men
Yes.
movie.
And that was the first time I ever had seen him.
Yeah. But he wasn't that jacked for that one.
No.
He started doing the rock diet and the rock lifting.
What's that? Like the guy, The Rock?
It's 10,000 calories a day, 6 meals a day,
Holy,
lifting,
twice a
bulking, and
day.
then shredding for the last month.
So how does that even, can you walk me through what that even is?
Yeah, you have to eat. You basically eat get to a point where you're eating 6 full meals a day.
And you can handle it because you're working out so hard?
You kind of, I think, work your way up to it. And but trust me, getting super, super jacked has a lot more to do with eating than it does with lifting.
But like you have to lift still.
Oh, you sure do.
Yeah.
But you won't get jacked if you just eat like that. You'll just become a big square. Dude, there's a guy who was at the wedding who is has been a friend of ours for a long time, and his weight fluctuates like crazy, and he's just an enormous guy.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He's just a humongous guy. Not like fat, but if he doesn't starve himself and do cardio all the time, his arms and shoulders and his back kind of balloon to like crazy levels. Do you know that character?
Dude, I know you. Sorry, before you say that, I know who you're talking about, and I was looking at his Instagram the other day. Somehow, it popped up, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how is this picture taken a week before this picture?
Dude,
I had that thought.
I'm telling you, we were making jokes. This is the biggest I've ever seen him, and it kind of just came out of nowhere.
Like jacked or like.
Yeah, none of his clothes fit. Like
Okay,
everything is just clinging on for dear life. His arms are like this, but it's not like rippling veins or anything. It's just
He's just bulk.
looks like he's been eating porridge all day, every single day. He's the type of person you'd want to have around if like a tent were starting to blow away. You'd be like, grab it, and he would, and then we'd be fine. So
What was the character you were saying to say?
I was thinking of the character from The Punisher or Daredevil, the bad guy.
I don't remember.
He's huge,
Okay.
but I can't remember what his name is. Did you ever watch either of those shows?
Does he look like Hellboy?
No. It's a guy who wears a suit.
Okay.
Anyway, this dude, we were making jokes about how we just pictured that like when he gets to a doorway, he has to turn sideways to go through it. And that's kind of what happens when you go on this rock diet. I've always wanted to do it.
So, dude, I think this is what would happen to me if I were to do it. And at the beginning of quarantine, I was doing it. I was eating a lot and I was getting big and I was actually like getting muscular, but then I just became fat. I
Okay,
like
so
couldn't do the next step.
What were you eating?
Like a bunch of protein. I had this guy like measuring it all out for me and like eating about, but like a specific calorie amount. I don't know if I was just going over the calorie amount without knowing or something, but like I was starting to get muscular And then like when the next phase was upon us, we're like, and I'm not saying I was doing the Rock thing, but when the next stage came to like cut and to eat less, my appetite was just too big now, and I couldn't do it.
Oh,
At night, I would end up just like binging because I was so hungry.
that is hard. I would.
Is that a
imagine.
thing? I just
I'm
didn't
sure.
have the
I'm
discipline.
sure. Yeah, yeah. So my dream has always been to do this, to find a way to eat 6 meals a day. I just don't know where I'd find the time.
Yeah.
But to do that, you wake up, you have like a 3-egg omelet, and then an hour later you have a protein shake, and then an hour and a half after that you have like a cup of rice, some cod, and some steamed broccoli, and then 2 hours after that another protein shake, then another hour after
Oh my
that you
God.
have a burrito or something, and then 2 hours after that you have fish and rice again and a green vegetable.
And then you just like intermittent fast or something? Because it's sounding like that's all happening in a short period of time.
Well, you have that across your day, right?
And
That's
that-
kind of how they do it.
And
They
does
do
the
something
eating
like
window
that.
not matter when you're working out that hard?
Well, the only reason the window matters is to try to allow yourself enough time to get
To eat
hungry
it all.
enough to eat it again.
Right.
Because you can't just do it all at once.
Right. Makes sense.
But you speed your metabolism up like crazy, and then maybe you do a lift in the morning and a run at night.
Got it.
And that's how a lot of people do this.
Got it.
And that's how you put on 20 pounds of muscle.
And that's because I remember you were saying there was a point where you were huge. And like huge,
Yeah, but I
like-
wasn't eating enough.
Got
So
it.
I
So-
put on about 10 pounds of muscle, but if I had been eating correctly, I would have put on more.
And
Because I
how
was
much did you
lifting
weigh?
enough. I got up to like 222.
Whoa.
But I was lifting enough that I was doing the lifting and the exercise to transform my body
Yeah.
to, the best level it could possibly have been at.
Yeah.
But I was not following that up with I was still kind of eating 3 meals a day.
Right.
And it just didn't move the needle that much.
How much do you weigh now?
My normal weight's like 208, 210.
Word.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Is Melvin Potter the guy you're thinking of?
Oh, the character?
No, I think he's got a name, like the something or
Oh.
Kingpin. That's who I'm thinking of. His name's Kingpin. The character's name is Kingpin. That's him. That Kingpin?
He maybe has.
Maybe his real
he
name
probably-
is
yes,
Melvin Potter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Not as big of a comic book guy as I thought.
thinking. Well, it's funny that we're talking about this. I've been watching so many more Olympics this year than I ever have.
Are you kidding?
No.
I don't give a fuck about the Olympics.
Well, dude, the way that the NBC app is set up now, you can watch highlights of every single thing that's happened.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. It's the Olympics.
Are there stars? When they said that the woman who got caught smoking weed, the 100-yard
Sha'Carri?
sprinter, got kicked out, I said fuck this, and that was it.
I guess Simone Biles is hurt now too.
She's not hurt.
Oh, it was a mental thing.
Dropped out from mental stress.
Exhaustion. Wow, that's crazy. That because actually, I saw the first post said that she was hurt, but then there was the follow up that
Yeah.
said that's crazy. I'd be curious to see.
Naomi
Hear more about
Osaka
that.
got upset.
She lost. Yeah, she hasn't really been playing though. But dude, there are absolutely stars. Dude, it's as exciting as ever. I would argue. It's-
No fans.
Without the fans, it's not as good. But I'm still really intrigued.
I feel like in Olympics past of my life, somehow the media has done a pretty good job of letting us know who to keep an eye on heading into the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I could not tell you a single athlete that is
Right.
competing in these
Right.
games.
That's fair.
Not one.
So, like, it's early in the game still. Like, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. There isn't like the standout star. There isn't the like, watch this year as Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt,
Right.
even Gatlin. I mean, we knew who might challenge from America
Right.
against the perennial powerhouses.
Who was the swimmer guy again?
Michael
Lochte? No,
Phelps,
Lochte.
Ryan Lochte,
Yeah, yeah.
Katie Ledecky. I mean,
Well, she's still doing it.
yeah, but okay, yeah.
I think she won a gold. Well, anyway, dude, I'm telling you, give it a shot, man. The NBC app, you can just watch all the highlights from the day, and especially because it's in Tokyo, the timing is fucked up. So like, it's happening overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing this, I'll just like have it on in the background, and dude, I'm learning so much about these sports and the rules, like about fencing and about taekwondo. Do you know what taekwondo even is?
Striking.
So I was always like, oh, it's martial arts, whatever. But it's so bizarre. It's like all leg. All the people competing just have the longest legs ever, and like they're trying to land blows with their legs, and the way you block is also with your leg. So it's just these people who are pivoted on one leg, and then they tilt backwards to both attack and to block. It's the most bizarre. So anyway, I'm having a great time, dude, watching it. I'm just learning so much shit. There's so many cool random events. There's shooting. There's just shooting. You just shoot a pistol. That's an Olympic event.
Well, I watched some of the skateboarding highlights.
Yeah, that was sick too.
Yeah, but I don't think it's set up very well.
What's his name? Naya is the guy.
Nigel Houston.
He lost.
He lost.
But the Japanese guy was pretty good. You don't like the way it's set up?
Okay, my problem with how it's set up is that these guys just get to go too many times.
Oh, interesting. It definitely takes away some of the raw. The thing that's cool about skateboarding.
And then they're like, no big deal. And they grab their board and they go up again. And
like
they
the slam
fall
dunk
again.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel you. I hear you on that. It's just so contrived too. It's like taking this rebellious, cool thing and making it part of the club.
Yeah.
There's something like shitty about that, but it's still cool that they get the opportunity to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's amazing how many Olympic events take place in the ocean.
Surfing.
Sailing. That's just crazy to me. Like,
is that it?
I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking of. I mean, crew doesn't really count because it's on a river, right? But it's crazy that you're just like, you're not in a stadium. You're just in the fucking ocean.
Right.
That's nuts, man. Is that not crazy? Maybe a triathlon too.
Yeah.
Dude, crazy.
It is crazy.
The other crazy thing, Russia is not allowed to compete.
No, but they're back. The gymnasts were back this
Their
year.
athletes are competing as the ROC, and no one says the word Russia. It's the craziest.
What's ROC stand for?
Russian Olympic Committee. But you don't say that. You don't say Russian. The broadcasters only say ROC. There's no flag. It's the most bizarre like penalty because the Olympics are all about honor. You're just being stripped of honor.
Mm-hmm.
You can still compete. We all know it's Russia, but somehow that's like this fucking dig.
Weird. Well, look, I'll never forget the Olympics of my youth, and I'll remember forever that, women's gymnastics team who with Dominique Dawes and Carrie Strug.
Yeah. I think
The one who
that.
rolled her ankle and landed the final vault. And, I'm trying to think. Who
Maybe
else?
Ali Raisman, even the more like recent
that was more
ones.
recent, but I remember that the 1990s Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
And, I was sitting there with my family watching that amazing women's gymnastics team compete with a nice cold Stewart's root beer in my hand, thinking, my God,
could life get any better?
I'm going to remember these days forever. In fact, I bet when I'm in my 30s, I'm going to look back and fondly have a very strong wave of nostalgia overcome me, which I hope to quench with some modern iteration that's a little bit more to my liking when I'm in my 30s. Something with a little nice kick to it, maybe a little alcohol in it.
The Stewart Spiked Seltzer.
Oh, they've got that now?
What a wonderful treat.
Never saw that coming when I was 12 or
to allow you to re-experience the sweet taste of your youth.
That's it.
In a more appropriate adult beverage.
Yeah.
The Stewart Spiked Seltzer really captures the essence of all of our memories.
Crack a can and it'll transport you right back to that vault from Carrie Strong or whatever the hell her name is.
Right now, you can get it in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Colorado. It will be available everywhere in early 2022. If you're looking for it, you can go to stewartspiked.com for the store locator to see who's carrying it. That's stewartspiked.com. One S in the middle, or at Stewart Spiked on Instagram. There are great flavors. They have the black cherry. They have the root beer, like you said. They have the orange cream, raspberry lime. They're also introducing new flavors. These things only have 100 calories, 0 to 1 gram of sugar per can, gluten-free, vegan. It's a really nice treat. They're refreshing and light and guilt-free. And, Francis Iconic just got spiked.
That's it. Brings you right back.
So go check out some Stewart's Spiked Seltzer, crafting flavor ever since 1924. It's good stuff.
Gee, everyone's talking about how nobody can hire anyone right now.
I've heard that.
But that the job market is the hottest it's been in the history of the job market. I don't know if that's true, but...
And I wonder if that is just like statistically because more people are like, it's an improvement on the previous quarter or whatever type of thing.
It's because people don't really want to go back to work, but that businesses have now recovered. And so they have
And
the
they need
capital
people.
to hire people, but that people don't want to go back to work.
So I think I've heard too that it's especially impacted the sort of service industry because bartenders and waiters are getting unemployment still.
Yeah.
And they get paid the same amount from unemployment that they would at their job.
Right. Why would they go back to
Right,
work?
which is interesting.
But for me, it has made me very curious, about the job market. And does it not ever make you want to say, boy, I wonder if I hopped on LinkedIn for a second and searched for a job, I might apply for one that pays $500,000 a year.
So, dude, I don't think that my resume would be able to yield that. Yours obviously could, it sounds like, especially, we know how decorated your academic career is. You have some experience doing other stuff. I understand why. So how serious are you actually thinking about doing something like that? 0 to 100.
Well, I went on LinkedIn today. I've never used LinkedIn. I've never used it. I really honestly did not open it for 8 years, but I've had a profile.
Yeah.
So I went on there for the first time and tried to see if I could search jobs by salary offering. And I could not figure out how to do that because I wanted to limit in the same way that when I go on Zillow, and I told you I had to delete the Zillow app. I set my ranking, my high. I don't even put a limit on the price of the houses that I look at. So I start, and the first 2 or 3 houses, there's one that's like 69 million. Then it goes down to like 48. Then it's down to like 22, and you're like, well, those are probably out of my price range.
Dude, that's so funny.
But then
That's
because
like,
you've seen those, you get into the 8s,
Right.
and you're like, well,
I still can't afford this.
seems pretty reasonable compared to that 17 bedroom that I saw right up top. So,
dude, it's so funny. Most people delete Candy Crush from their phone. Francis is deleting.
I had to
Zillow.
delete Zillow. It just
Hilarious.
left me absolutely demoralized. But
1 to 100, how serious are you actually? Because I know that you're not that serious, but maybe you're a little more serious than not.
I don't understand how to get from the amount of money that I make right now doing what I do to doubling that.
Mm-hmm.
And I am getting to a point in my life where I don't know how many more years I can make this amount of money and be happy.
Mm-hmm. Guys, please give the podcast to all of your friends. Let's keep Francis
Review
talking
it,
on the
like
mic.
and subscribe.
Please.
I'm sounding dramatic, and it doesn't mean that I'm not grateful. I accept that, and I'm thrilled that the amount of money I make, given that what I do, is a lot. I make a very good living, given the career that I'm in.
Totally. And especially compared to other people who are like considered to be decorated people in our field, like, I'm sure that you're doing much better than a lot of them even, which of course is a blessing, but it doesn't change the fact that the $10 million house is going to be difficult to come by.
That's it, man. That's it. So I went on LinkedIn just to peruse, and as far as I can tell, you can't limit by or list even by like highest paid to lowest paid jobs.
Okay. Interesting.
But there are all kinds of weird things that you can limit your search to, and you can limit it to certain fields.
What would you do? Because I'm sure you were searching through the fields.
So one thing that interested me was that there was an article in the New York Times I read about venture capital firms that are investing in tools for creators.
Oh, interesting.
So right now it's a creator economy, right? So there's all these new apps coming out like Clubhouse and Community, and obviously Patreon just got IPO'd at like $4.1 billion. And, any number of these tools, whether it's Vimeo,
right,
or, we get hit up. I get hit up by like
all the time
companies that are just, new versions of Cameo and ways for connecting creators to brands or to their audience. And this is the new tool for doing live streaming. And
yeah, totally.
Within Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, they're all competing and rolling out their new things. And so there are venture capital firms that are investing in young companies that are coming up with ways for creators to
Right.
expand their audience.
Take the platform out of the equation.
And they
allow-
are,
yeah.
this article said that some of these VC firms are hiring creators that have built their own following who understand what creators,
Dude.
what they need, and what might work for them in terms of connecting.
That could be great.
And I have this kind of ridiculous view of what it would mean to work at a VC firm. To me, it's like you're in San Francisco or, Marin or something,
Mhm.
and you're wearing jeans to work every day and a polo shirt, and it's California, and you can
Tesla.
you get to work 45 minutes late, no one cares, and you're sitting in an all glass
Mhm.
building, and you leave early to go play paddle tennis or kayak or something like that, windsurf around the bay under the Golden Gate Bridge. And I'm sure I'm thinking more about the lifestyle than what the actual job would entail. But that's something that has started to pique my interest a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, some of those places are based here too.
Don't get me wrong, Julio. The odds of that happening are
No,
not
no.
high.
But dude, that's cool. I mean, listen, that's a well thought out approach at seeing what's out there. Because I mean, that is, dude, like you said, I had a funny call actually. It was one of those places because a lot of the time they'll be like, they try to get you to use the app, and then they're like, every time someone signs up, you get a
yeah, fuck
and it's
that.
like, fuck off, dude. But so this one guy kept telling me, once you get big enough, he just kept saying that. I'm like, dude, didn't you ask me to talk on the phone? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Dude, then he said it again in the email, and then I emailed him back. I was like, dude, you need to stop doing that. Like, I gave you my time to talk to you and hear your stupid idea.
Yeah.
Stop talking down to me, dude. You're a little shit, fucking scratchy voiced
Ooh.
college kid. I didn't say you're a little shit in the email, but I did say something that like a person who had an active LinkedIn profile would not have said. Let's just
Interesting.
keep it like that.
Wow.
Come correct, dude. But anyway, I think that I understand, man. And
You know what the new thing, the big thing is that they're trying to really find a company for?
what?
It's finding a way to match like creators to online marketplaces. So almost do a home shopping network through influencers.
Interesting.
And say, so you bring someone on, one of us, and we're just like trying to sell sunglasses or something to people as we are telling jokes on a live show.
Oh, interesting.
Something like that.
Interesting.
That's the thing that I think TikTok is now really trying to figure out. I think Snapchat has a version of it. Instagram's doing it
So
too.
how do you even do it? You can go live and incorporate these products or something?
We would almost be doing like our own QVC type thing.
That's hilarious. That's
I
crazy.
think that's something we would be good at though.
Yeah, it would be pretty.
But
fun.
that's the next frontier of, I think, social media.
fucking nuts.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
Um,
we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
well, actually,
there,
dude,
Julia.
before we take it home, I have a good email that you're gonna really enjoy,
Excellent.
and I'm excited to read it to you.
Here, let me see if I can predict the first 20 seconds of this email. Hey, Julio, huge fan of the pod. Love you. You and I should get together sometime. You're the best. I love the way that you are.
Nice try, dude. Not quite. It wasn't a terrible guess, and you'll see why. Hello, Oops, the podcast. Big fan of the pod. I know the pod because of Francis, as he used to tutor me in SSAT prep.
Oh, okay.
Funny story is the first time my mom asked if he wanted something to eat or drink, to be polite, he responded with a very nonchalant, I am pretty hungry, and she made him a chicken quesadilla. My mom proceeded to make him chicken quesadillas every time he came over, which I thought was always very funny and a bold but respectable move. Dude, that is hilarious that now she just thinks you love chicken quesadillas and you're getting chicken quesadillas
Every time.
Tuesday.
I remember this family. I remember this family. Julio, are you sure you haven't read this email to me on the podcast before?
Dude, I recall reading an email about someone feeding you during SAT prep, but I don't think it was a chicken quesadilla. I think this is a
I
different.
feel like I knew that you there was an old student of mine had emailed you and said that the mom used to feed me chicken quesadilla.
If there's anybody listening who is that on top of our shit that they would know the answer to this, please let us know. Because for me, I understand why you're saying that, but to me, this is a different story.
Dude, it's funny though, because the families that I used to work with, the mothers specifically would become very happy feeding me.
That's great.
And they knew that I was like a struggling comedian who was tutoring, and I'm sure they thought that by giving me a meal, they were helping me, and they were. That was amazing.
It's amazing.
But I also got some really good food.
This is sounding delicious. I might have to eat a chicken quesadilla tonight.
There were these families. I saw some really cool different families that had different, sort of ethnic backgrounds that would cook different things, and then they had amazing pantries. Oh, grapes. You're eating things that the kids eat when they come home from school. So it's awesome. It's like little lemonade with straw, Minute Maid lemonade pouches.
Capri Suns.
You're eating, peanut butter cracker packs.
Fuck yeah.
And carrots. I didn't love that. But, sometimes you get the junkier foods. But for the most part, it was pretty good food.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you definitely take for granted as a kid your parents' ability to like keep fresh food around and stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, continued. He also said, I want to apologize to Francis for being so shitty at the SSAT and that he was always very patient with me.
Oh my God. I remember this kid. He was not shitty at all.
This is good. See?
No,
See?
come on. You were a great kid, a great student. I'm sure he's killing it now. It's really cool for me to see where these kids are at because I knew them when they were 12.
So he continues. Nevertheless, my question is on friendships. Here's to your question about the update. I'm in college now and part of the Boston area college group, Boston College. After graduating high school, I realized you can't stay close with all of your friends. Furthermore, I began to realize that some of my friends weighed me down and that them being in my life is not letting me be the best version of myself. Do you guys have any advice on what types of people I should stay close with, or just the general concept of how to evaluate friendships and people that you surround yourself with?
Oh, it's a pretty insightful question.
Yeah. I think
who
he meant, sorry. Go ahead.
Used to pay me in chicken quesadillas.
Dude, I love the idea of the small town piano lesson guy, like in The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
She pays him in meatballs.
yeah.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Here you go. I think the question that he means is about the first thing that he talked about the idea that you sort of, it's hard to stay in touch with people sometimes, or like you go to college and maybe you kind of change a little bit and then you don't mesh the same way you used to with your high school friends. And like, that's not a problem.
No.
That just
No.
happens.
I think college is a much better place to forge long-term friendships than high school.
I think so too.
I really do. I think that you get to a point in your life, first of all, you're all brought together due to some commonality, right? The admissions committee has seen something in everybody, and then you've all chosen this school for some common reason.
Interesting.
And so you're going to find more like-minded people. You're going to find people who understand themselves better, who are, trying to learn and improve and make friends. And it's just a better pool of people to select from than the kids you were forced to grow up with or just grew up with by virtue of where you were born.
And that I think is the key point there too. It's like in college, you had your friends because you were there and you guys were all there. That's why they became your friends. And you go to college and then you kind of get to complete the equation, which is like you get to add the idea of choice to that.
Yeah.
And then, it doesn't mean that I love my high school friends. They're great. Like it doesn't mean you have to not be friends with your high school friends, but if for some reason you find yourself drifting from certain friends, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
And those relationships can evolve or they can end, and neither are a tragedy.
Yeah.
And this is the first time you really deal with that when you go to college. So it seems like a big deal, but it's just really not.
Yeah. I also would say that this is something I've noticed. People who after college, and I'm talking years after college, are noteworthy for the fact that they never seem to hold on to friends all that long. and they make a new best friend every couple years and then have a falling out with someone else and like move on, that's not a good sign about that person.
That's like how comedy people are.
Yeah. These sort of fleeting, transitory
It's my best
friendships.
friend.
Yeah. That's not a good sign at all. I do think there is value in maintaining friendships from years and years before. And I have a friend who believes that even if someone you've been friends with for 10 years now starts being an asshole or, is really a nightmare, that you should not give up on them. Even if you're like, I really don't like this person anymore.
Yeah.
What they're into is totally not what I'm into. He feels that way. I'm not going to go so far as to say that. I do think there's a time to know when you should like cut ties. This person is leading me down a bad path. They're a bad influence on my life. However, it is important to have some connection with people who have known you a long time.
Agreed.
Because they're going to be the best at advising you. They know you the best. Outside of your family, they've seen you through the most phases of your life.
And you've just shared so much life together.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to give them a little more slack, even if they're annoying as fuck. There are people in my life who I'm like, I've known you 15 years. You're my friend now, even though I don't like you at all.
Yeah. But I also don't think that you should expect the same sort of the same contribution from all your friends. Friends wear different hats. So I have
It's like
friends.
a basketball team, right?
Yeah.
Role players.
I have friends that I love getting fucked up with, but that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not trust them to look after my children. I wouldn't trust them to advise me about relationships. I have friends who I know on a more sentimental level, who, I would want to get a drink with if I was like, I'm going through this crisis in my life, help me. But maybe that friend's not somebody that I would want to make plans with on a Saturday night because they're not that fun.
Right.
Friends that I would want to go on a trip with, friends that I would like to double date with, all of these things. And it's totally fine to have friends that serve different purposes or to rely on friends for different reasons. So don't expect them to be a total jack of all trades,
Totally.
Fulfilling all the boxes of friendships. You can assemble your own team of friends. And I realize this sounds like I'm kind of using my friends, but they're using you too. Realize that you wear a hat for your friends, and hopefully you can try to have someone who covers the most boxes. But
and by using each other, you are not using each other.
Exactly.
Right. A
Yes.
friendship is an exchange.
Yeah, it's not a
You
taking
enjoy each
advantage
other.
of. It's a mutual back scratching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice thoughts, Francis. Very nice.
Yeah,
I guess that's it, huh?
that's it.
Oops, the motherfucking podcast. Guys, I'm going to be performing in Barcelona at the comedy. Let me just double check this name so I get it
Are
right.
you for real?
Yeah. It's called the Comedy Clubhouse in Barcelona. It's in the Limerick, in the back of the pub Limerick. This is comedy club. I'm going to be there August 13th and 14th. Come check out the shows if you're in town.
How did this happen?
I'm stopping in Barcelona before I go to Greece because I was supposed to be going to a bachelor party. Bachelor party got canceled. I kept the plans because I was like, whatever, I'm going to eat this flight anyway. I'm just going to go. It's only for a couple of nights. And I was like, I should try to do some shows. Got connected with some people and
Unbelievable.
yeah. So that Saturday night show, I'm going to be doing a long set in case you're trying to pick if you're out there.
Wow.
So come check that out.
I'll be at Springfield, Massachusetts, the MGM Roar Casino on Saturday of Labor Day weekend. I think that's
That's
September 3rd or 4th.
I can check for you right now.
One of those days. So come out to that. Tickets, francisellis.com/shows. And I hope to see you there. It's a fun club.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess that's it. Check us out, Oops the Podcast, and DM us, send us your emails, let us know what's going on. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for rocking through this hot summer, and enjoy yourself.